Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Kelly. I ride a 2015 Kawasaki Vulcan S, and on my channel I just kind of talk about whatever comes to mind or whatever I've been thinking about recently. And so today we're going to do part 2 of the Ghost and the Hooligan. Wrap up those little short stories I have, and with that, let's get underway. So alright, now in my last video I left off with a little bit of a tale about a group of young gentlemen who thought they wanted to talk to me, and I ended up hitting one of them with my car. It wasn't terribly lethal or anything like that. And I think I'll start off with a story along those same lines. It's going to take me back before that incident happened. In fact, before any of the other stories I told you in the last video happened. So I got to set a little bit of context here, I think. That high school that I went to where those previous stories happened was a high school that I graduated from in my senior year, of course. However, that was the first year and only year I went to that high school. The previous 3 years was spent at a completely different school. That time has a completely different set of stories, but none with the car. None with the car. I did buy my car when I was a junior in that previous high school, but I didn't get into any kind of trouble or rambunctiousness with it while I was there. It didn't happen till my senior year of high school, and the year after that, things really got crazy with me. With me in that car. Things were already crazy with me before then. So to get out, the reason why I switched high schools, I guess I should say, because the 3 years I was at that first high school, J.K. Mullen High School in, it was south of Denver. It was like in the next county over from Denver County, southward. I forget exactly what that little township is. Anyways, it was there. That was an all-boys college prep parochial type school. And yeah, I was dying there. Absolutely dying scholastically. Was constantly in trouble. I don't want to say constantly in trouble, but I was in trouble a lot there. Spent a lot of detention time there. And I finally told my mom, you know, after my junior year, I said, look, you know, I probably won't even graduate this high school because I'm just getting further and further behind, and I hate it more and more and more. And so, you know, after some convincing, she finally agreed to let me pull out of there and just get my senior year done in a public school system. But there was a problem. I couldn't just go to my senior year because math-wise, well, everything-wise, but math specifically, was so bad grade-wise that I couldn't clear my junior year, so I had to take summer school. Let me tell you something, it ain't no fun taking summer school in your junior year of high school for trigonometry, I believe it was. So anyway, that's what I had to do. And that's part of the reason why I needed a car. So I got the car, of course, and I started going to summer school. And one day coming out of there, it was some public school in downtown Denver. And yeah, coming out of there, coming out onto an intersection, now the school parking lot, Hold on, let me get past this turn. This is particularly bumpy. Anyways, it's coming out of the parking lot. I kept looking left and looking right. I want to do a right-hand turn. So I'm looking left for oncoming traffic, right? And I see I got an opening, and so I hit my gas and I just begin to go. And all of a sudden I hear this go thump, thump, thump. And I look forward, and to my surprise, in my windshield is the face of an old woman. And in a panic, I hit my brake. Now, I'd just gotten going, so it wasn't like I actually plowed into her. But how she got up there is beyond me. And why will be self-evident here in a minute. So she slowly slid off my hood, out of my windshield, and she disappears out of my line of sight for a second. And I'm like, what? There's no way I hit her that hard. I just barely moved. And next thing I know, she stands up and she's got a walker, and she about halfway carries that walker the rest of the way across the street. And I was shocked. I was in total shock and disbelief. And as I pulled away, as she clearly was okay, I pulled away and got out of there. And I got like 2 blocks away. The next thing I know, I find myself laughing hysterically, and I almost get into an accident because I'm laughing so hard. And the reason why I'm laughing is not particularly because I hit an old woman. It was just so cartoonish. It was like something, I mean, I don't know if anybody remembers the old Bugs Bunny and Roadrunner or Coyote cartoon series stuff, but it just reminded me of something stupid like that, having her face up in my windshield. It's not like I was not compassionate to old people. I loved my grandparents. I absolutely adored my grandmothers. So, but just the silliness of her look and that entire situation just struck me as funny then. But yeah, that's where that story ends. I finally finished up that stupid summer school, got my passing grade in trigonometry, which I absolutely did not need, because when I got to that public high school for my senior year, I literally had exceeded everything, all my credits that I needed to pass, except English. I literally needed an English credit, and then I had to fill up all my other class hours with just garbage. Freshman level science, freshman level something else, and then all the shop classes I could find: wood, metal, small engine, everything. Drafting course, freshman level drafting course. I mean, I literally did not care. I just was plugging slots in. Man, I hated school. Hated school so much. Hated everything about it. Anyways, what else with that car? Drifting. Last video I talked about a drift that I did, very foolishly advised, would not advise anyone doing it. Well, I'd worked through my senior year and a little bit after. No, just my senior year, never mind. At this twin screen cinema, Man Villa Italia Cinema, something like that. And wasn't really a good employee there, but the times I did want to be good, I was very dedicated. And so there was one day I was running just a little bit late. And so when I got to the parking lot of the cinema, like all the movies were already going, parking lot was full. And then I saw it. I saw a spot to get into. But I was in such a hurry that I didn't take into consideration, what direction I was going. So like, if you ever seen those parking lots where everything is slanted, you come in this way and then you pull in. I came in the opposite way of how the cars were supposed to be parked. And as a result, I realized what time it was and thought to myself, if I try to turn this around and park right, I'm too far away. I will probably end up being late. I didn't want to be late. So I went booking down the wrong way of this aisle and did a drift, and I was able to squeeze the car all the way around to where it's pointed the right way, and I just pulled into the slot. How I did that without taking out 2 or 3 bumpers, because the 65 Plymouth is not a small car. It's not a compact. It's not a subcompact. It is a full-size monstrosity that doesn't fit well in modern parking lots. But somehow I hit everything just right to where I slid that car around and missed every other vehicle in the parking lot. Still amazes me to this day. And I was on time. I wasn't late. I've got a lot of stories about that theater I'll share. That place was a nut house. And then, let's see, another story with that car. Oh yeah. My friends, the 2 that I had, we had this habit of taking our vehicles every place, including places they should never be. And the 65 Plymouth found its way up into the mountains on a Jeep trail, parked in front of my great-grandfather's cabin, which he had established when he was gold mining way back in the day. That was tricky. Speak about having to pick your lanes and pick your lines, because there's big old rocks sticking out of the road, washouts. You kind of had to straddle a bot. Yeah, it was crazy. But I did get that car up there. I loved going to that cabin. I actually loved being in the mountains. Got me away from people, got me away from everybody and everything. So I really had peace up there that I didn't have in Denver. And so I got up there, literally as often as I could. And I would take anything up there, anything. And so I took this Plymouth up there, and yeah, it didn't like it. That thin oxygen, didn't have great airflow, overheated, ended up popping the hood, so that I could get some airflow while I sat there and let it cool off, and then I would go hiking around. You know, I had somebody complain in one of my videos a while back about wide open spaces. You know what? I love wide open spaces. I love being able to see everything. Yeah, the roads are straight more times than not. That's to be expected, you know, with being in the Midwest and Kansas. It is what it is, but I really like seeing a lot of openness in front of me on my bike. Well, I think we'll go ahead and close this out with what happened to that car. It was winter time in Denver again, and I was very careful with dirt. I was super careful with trying to get my car home and myself home. It was icy out, snowing, just awful. Awful for a car like that anyway. So I was coming home on that Federal Boulevard, the same one that I was racing on. And there's a few hilly areas there, calving season. And I found myself heading down one of the hills there. And there's people trying to stop below me, and so I figured I'd try to stop early so that hopefully we wouldn't end up trading bumper chrome. Well, I felt the car start to slide underneath me when I tapped the brakes, and I was getting closer, of course, to the people that had successfully at least slowed down enough at the bottom of this hill. And so I switched lanes from the right to the left and tried it again, and no dice. I'm still clipping along. In fact, I'm picking up speed now. And every time I even touched the brakes, I could feel the car try to shift underneath me and just start to slide. So now I'm really running out of options, so I hit that center line again where all the turn lanes are. And I think, you know, maybe here I'll find some traction. And I didn't. And by this time I'm out of options. The cars that were at the bottom of the hill are now coming up on my front quarter panel. And I look over to my right, or to my left rather, and there's a parking lot, an apartment parking lot, and I make a beeline for it. So I have to cross the two other lanes that are coming towards me. And fortunately there's no one there, but when I hit that parking lot, I hit the brakes again, and I just slammed straight into this concrete retaining wall that separated that parking lot from the next plot over, and I hit it solidly. Ended up curling the front end of the car under so bad that it crushed the radiator and popped my front tires, blew out my front tires. And of course, the only thing about those cars, that car was made before shoulder harnesses was a thing. So all I had was a lap seat belt, and those were never very good. And I ended up sliding almost out from underneath that seat belt, and my knees got hung up and jammed underneath the dash. Took me a little bit of effort to unfurl myself from underneath there so I could get out of the car. Then when I did get out of the car, I was just in misery because both my knees were killing me. Didn't go to the hospital or anything like that I remember. Just kind of walked it off. But yeah, the car was toast. So that was the end of that. And then, so then I had and this was after boot camp and after I got back from all that. I think it was actually the first year, to be honest with you. So I had $3,500 worth of high performance big block Mopar parts in my bedroom. So when that car got wrecked, I just scrapped it out and then found myself that 69 Chevy Impala, and then I grabbed all of those Mopar parts, went to Super Shops, which is where I bought them from, and traded all that stuff in for small block Chevy parts. And even though I built that Chevy up, I really didn't do any of the craziness that I did with that Plymouth, that first car. Because I had too many close calls overall to continue that on. Anyway, that's all I got for today. I'm gonna ride around for a little while longer, get some fresh air, and we're just gonna call it right here, I think. If you like these casual talks, if you like the casual tone of this channel, knock yourself out, hit like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that, you know, all that YouTube stuff. And I'll catch you on the next one. Have a good one.